Hello, hello. Welcome to the Deep Impact Mindwork Masterclass. First and foremost, congratulations. You have taken what may be the very first step in understanding what is really going on underneath the surface of not just your life, but the life of so many people who may be battling with emotional highs and lows in their lives. Or they may be experiencing moments where they're in a depression, feeling a lot of anxiety, and it shows up in their life like a boss, right? Does it show up in your life like a boss? Because I remember when this used to happen to me all the time, and I didn't know why, and I didn't know what to do about it. But the sooner this information that you're about to learn in this masterclass spreads, this knowledge, the faster we can begin to heal the world. But it starts with just one person, and today that person is you, and you taking this step means so much. I really hope that you stay until the end of the masterclass because it can truly change your life. If you have been battling stubborn behavioral patterns that seem to have a hold on you, or you're experiencing guilt and remorse about where you are in your life, right? You don't feel fulfilled. You're feeling like you were meant for so much more, and you're experiencing this reality that doesn't feel whole to you. And no matter how much you try to change these habits or patterns that you may have, you always end up back at square one. If you are experiencing this, then this masterclass is for you. When you are in your truth and you're living through your true identity, you won't feel lost. You won't feel constant sadness, confusion, self-doubt, or live your life in constant guilt and self-blame. If you realize that you have self-sabotaging behavior, okay, or you hold yourself back due to perfectionism, have difficulty making decisions, you're experiencing bursts of anger or burnout, or you just feel numb to life and stuck, not knowing if it's even worth the fight, then this masterclass is the right place to be right now. I'm going to get straight to the point and address the mental health elephant in this space, because the stigma surrounding our mental health, and yes, I did say our, because we all have brains, right? And the better we become open to learn and understand it, this is the way that we'll be able to create the deeply impactful changes that we seek to make in our lives, okay? And the stigma surrounding our mental health, it's really just keeping us closed out and falling deeper into the dysfunction that has become of your life right now, right? And the guilt, the self-blame, the cycle of sadness, of anxiety, self-doubt, emptiness, will make you question your own sanity. But you are not broken. You're strong. And inside you, there is unlimited potential, limitless opportunities await you. And you can make it happen. You can rewire yourself and start anew. So, the statistics on this screen are from the United States alone. And it can never be fully accurate because of the number of cases that go unreported and, of course, the occasional misdiagnosis. Not to mention the plethora of people that go without healthcare services, let alone mental health care services, every single day. And according to the World Health Organization, depression, is one of the leading causes of disability. And suicide is the second leading cause of death amongst 15 to 29-year-olds. You can be stripped of 2 decades of your lifespan if your mental health goes without care, and most of it due to preventable physical conditions. The key word here is preventable. So today, for this masterclass, I want to talk about the possibility of having experienced some form of trauma that you may not even be aware of, right? And the symptoms may be showing up in your life. The experiences that may be causing emotional blockages in your life are what I call heart's pain points, okay? And we're going to cover that later on. This is just another class. This is not just another class that will leave you feeling like something is wrong with you. I promise to help you make a shift today in the perception of what it is you're really going through so that you can start making the changes that you want to make. And not only make the changes, right? I want you to make them and actually make them stick. Okay. So I definitely feel like it is my life's purpose to get this information to you, because there are so many cases of clinical depression that stem from prolonged exposure to adversity and untreated trauma. And I just want to make this information known. I want to make sure that you know that you are not broken. So the first myth that I must debunk is that only veterans experience PTSD. This is not true. If you were ever exposed to any form of adversity throughout your life, especially before you were aware enough to understand what it is that your body and mind were experiencing, then realizing the symptoms, right, as an adult and receiving any form of treatment may be delayed. And the truth is that this is exactly what is going on in the world. Anyone, regardless of age, gender, race, or any kind of background, can be exposed to trauma. Have you ever heard of indirect trauma exposure? This is where it wouldn't even have to be you who experienced the trauma directly. Maybe you witnessed something, maybe something you heard that triggered you, stories, a death, or someone else's trauma. Here in New York City, where I'm from, we all experienced this during 9/11. Even if we or anyone who may have known, or anyone that we may have known was harmed directly, right? The nation was hit with indirect trauma exposure. We were exposed to fear, to danger, to uncertainty, and insurmountable grief from the amount of lives lost. Even while trying to practice compassion for others and their trauma, it can become your own, especially if it's someone who you care about or who you love. A perfect example of this now, which is a very fresh wound, is COVID. I don't know about you, but I experienced very high levels of anxiety especially when it first started, because I was an essential worker and I have a 4-year-old daughter at home. My mother is high risk. I was able to apply some techniques and methods that I know through crystal healing and hypnosis. But I can just imagine those who don't have an outlet, who don't know how to express or share what they're really feeling. And this is a perfect example of indirect trauma exposure. And I share this to make a point, because there are so many misconceptions surrounding the perception, the stigma, and the lack of acknowledgement surrounding possible exposure to trauma. The symptoms show up in your life though, and you may not even be aware of what it is that's causing it. You feel you have nowhere to turn to and no way to explain, but the thing is that you don't understand it. But the shift starts with expanding your knowledge and exploring your true self. Because through the hurting and underneath the confusion lies the answer and a path to your resilience, a path to your true identity, where you can tear down barriers, remain true to your values, unapologetically make the shifts that you need to make in order to live the life you want to live. You will begin to evolve as a person in a major way. See, that's what I did. And I'm forever changed. And I would love to tell you a little bit about myself, and how I had my very own transformational shift by using the knowledge and the techniques that you will learn in today's masterclass. Okay, I grew up in a single parent household. Okay, my mother named me Naisha Dali Feliciano. That is my whole name. You can call me Naisha D. And my mother came to New York City when she was very young with my 2 sisters, in her arms, and she only had one book bag full of clothes on her back. Okay, my father and my mother's relationship was very toxic. He was deep into the street lifestyle. I couldn't begin to explain the trauma that both of my parents endured, being born and raised in Puerto Rico back in the days, but that's a whole nother story in itself. My mother was a hustler though. She did what she had to do, and boy did she struggle to raise me and my 4 siblings. She suffered from depression and did everything in her power to support us. She was spread so thin and her resilience impeccable, but she did fall into a clinical depression after having reached her breaking point, because she was so strong for so long, and without the proper care, that would tear anybody down. My father, he was shot to death when I was 7, before I even got to know him, really. And I began to lash out. I became a rebel. I drank alcohol, took pills. I mingled with the wrong crowd. I've been arrested, sexually assaulted. I became addicted to drugs. I suffered a miscarriage in my teen years. I ended up feeling anxious and depressed before I was even 21 years old. Okay. And then I went on to get arrested as an adult. And my story is really hefty. And this is only half of what I endured. And this masterclass is not about my life story, so I won't go on and on about that. But with just that I've shared with you now, you can see how the traumatic episodes in my life compiled into the identity that I started to identify with, right? And I had built that through time. I felt broken at one point, but I found comfort in my brokenness, because it was all I knew for a very long time. I did not know the information that I'm about to share with you today. So what I went through in my life would be classified as complex trauma, which is the last one here, number 3, which is a multiple exposure to multiple events, traumatic events. The first one here would be considered acute, which could be considered like one thing, one stressful situation or one dangerous event that you probably experienced at one point in your life. And even if you have dissociated and you don't remember it, and it had an effect on your brain and your perception, even now it could be affecting you, and it unconsciously affects you in your life now. And the second one you see here is chronic, which means that it was a prolonged and repeated exposure to the event, much like bullying, domestic violence, or household dysfunctions, emotional neglect, and things of that sort. And we all have lived life, right? We all have life experiences. We have all lived through something, and many events resonate deeply with you. They linger inside of you, and there's no need for you to, there is no need for you to be conscious of this happening. It just happens because we're human. We go through experiences. But guess what? It was, and it is real. Don't let anybody belittle your experience, because that is the quickest way to suppress your true emotions. You push your true self to the side, and then you start feeling at fault, right? That is the quickest way to masking and storing these experiences into your subconscious. And today, our goal is to unveil your true identity and break these chains, okay? And a lot of times, you find that you question these things, right? And you say, oh, well, it's in the past. But if it is showing up now in your habits, in the symptoms that you're experiencing, in your bodily functions, okay, in your thought patterns, then it is something that happened in the past, but it is affecting you now, okay? It is affecting you now. So you want to be able to unravel this, right? You may be asking, well, how do I do that, right? You do that by unlocking the chains of your heart's pain points. I'm talking about those deep-rooted hurts, the unforgettable wounds, the ones that define you today, the ones that still govern your storyline and conversations, or the ones that you deliberately avoid because they shame you. And you're embarrassed, and it's a topic that altogether just trigger you. And you see, both stem from the resonance of the affliction. Both are indicative of the inability to let go or to let it be. And you are not at fault for this at all. You are not crazy, and you are not broken. You are going to make the changes starting here today. And I am here to validate you today. Forget whoever told you otherwise. You have a reason, and it was real. Okay? And let me tell you, if it has resonated and it created a connection to your heart through your mind, you are stronger for it. And the resistance that you feel is simply fear of the unknown, of the greatness that you have waiting for you once you come to terms. So what is your heart's pain point telling you? What is it telling you? Okay, so the first thing that we would have to do is get to a place of acceptance, right? A lot of times we don't want to admit the things. We don't want to admit the things that we think about when we lay our head to bed at night, and truthfully, you don't have to admit it to anyone but yourself. Okay, in order for the exercises in the deep impact mind work to work, you would have to just reach a place of self-acceptance. And that can be done through practicing mindfulness and remaining aware of it, what it is that you're feeling, right? And allow your vulnerability to shine through, okay? Because that's really a beautiful thing. And there is no way to erase what has been done, but you can change and accept that you are here now and that you are in control right now. Do you have any of these symptoms? Allow me to ask, do you have behavior that just feels very intrusive, right? That you feel like, okay, I can control it, but then you turn around and then you do the opposite. It's like you're going through a boomerang effect where you want one thing, but then you do another, and you find that you're probably drinking excessively. Maybe you're suffering from anxiety and you try to take deep breaths and control it. Maybe you're oversleeping because you're just in a state of unconscious avoidance, or overeating, or using drugs, having mood swings. How about any of the symptoms that make you feel like you aren't in control, right? Like you're impulsive, like if you're impulsive. I remember that was one of my very big, barriers that I had to like get over, was that I was very impulsive. I was irritated easily. And as time went, I always felt tired. I didn't want to do anything. And everything was just this big blog of just fogginess, and I really did go through that. Do any of these symptoms sound like something that you might be feeling and you might be hiding from others, right? You go to work, you go to school, you do all these things as if everything's okay. But you're feeling these symptoms and you're feeling this intrusive way of living that comes into your life sporadically. The way to get right into the aspects, right, of what is really going on is by getting to the root of it, okay? Breaking your beliefs and your habits down to the source, okay? Too often you're told to toughen up, right? And at the end of the day, why? I want you to allow yourself to be vulnerable. Allow yourself to get down to the nitty gritty. Who were your role models? How was your environment? And what past experiences have really resonated with you? This is like a reverse engineering type of exercise because, and I would like for you to do that in a very simple way and letting it be easy, because this will really provide answers for you, because every behavior and every belief is a learned belief and behavior. Okay, we learn how to walk on our 2 feet because we're watching the adults around us. And look, if it wasn't because my mom walked in her 2 feet and I was raised by a caveman or a monkey, I would be walking on all fours. I would be using my hands to walk around like Tarzan. It is just a fact. This is the way that we grow as people. Okay, this is the way that we learn how to do things, that we learn how to talk, that we learn how to deal with our issues. And it's really, the root lies in how we learn, right? And we all grow into our learning style. And I can go on for days about our learning style and our beliefs and our behavior. But I want to ask you today, what do you believe? Do you believe you're able to make a shift? Do you believe that you're worth it? Or is life good? Is life hard? Is money good? Is money bad? These questions are very important because it'll give you the foundation to where you stand right now as far as what you believe life to be. And let me tell you, when you do write these things down, who your role models were, how the environment was, and you get down to, okay, well, this was the foundation that I had before. Okay, I want you to know that where you are now, even when you feel down, even when you feel fatigued and you feel low and you feel like you're hiding your true emotions, it is not your fault, because nobody knows what you have really been through but you, okay? Nobody knows. And too often you're told to toughen up, stop feeling this or stop feeling that. It could be worse. Use your willpower. Don't be weak. You're stronger than this. Well, I'm sure the resources of this kind of advice are not coming from a bad place, but they are wrong. It is easy for a person who is not feeling what you feel to say these things, and I really do understand where you're coming from because I have been there. Your body has severe responses to stress. And imagine having those responses before you were even able to understand what was going on inside of your body. You have been stripped of the common coping mechanisms that your body needed in order to grow into a strong and decisive adult who is sure of his or her self. Okay? But you can reverse these effects. So right now, say to yourself, I can cry if I want to. I can jump around if I'm anxious. I can express my truth if I want to. I can live in my truth if I decide to. Do you want to live in your truth? I want you to want to. I really do. Say yes if you are receiving this right now, because you aren't receiving this information by mistake. Okay? Be strong, they say. It's all in your head, they say. But is it so? Nobody wakes up and decides, I'm going to destroy my organs, overthink, and feel like shit today. That is not on anybody's to-do list. You have neurons inside your brain, okay? And these neurons have created connections called synapses. Experiences and memories. Through experience, they create these connections. Thus, your deep-rooted identity was created. It was programmed, embedded into your brain. How you deal with issues, your habits, your outlook on relationships, money, and your overall happiness is dependent on these connections. Your behavior, these symptoms that keep showing up, and these repeated thoughts about yourself are on autopilot. Here's the gold though, okay? You can change. Okay, you can change that. You can literally create new connections and train your mind to produce great energy, power, and experience life in a whole new light. This transformation is not for the faint of heart, though. You have to understand this concept and accept the validity that science has provided you in this vicinity. In this day and age, it is truly extraordinary and it is available to you. Okay? So I want to ask, how long have you been trying to be your best self? The person that you know you can truly be. You wouldn't be here if you didn't know that deep down inside you were meant for so much more. Your subconscious may push back. It will enter a state of resistance, and that too is part of your brain function. Okay? So push through it. Okay? And and you could take control. You can take control right now. You can create new connections. Actually, you're doing it right now, as a matter of fact, just by taking this masterclass. You are taking control. You can rebuild your true identity. So, I have an exercise for you. What you're looking at here is the tree of reason. I use this in the beginner stages with my clients, and it really helps break the ice for stubborn behavioral patterns that you may want to change and that you have been trying to change and haven't been able to make it stick. And my motto is to let it be easy. Write that down. Let it be easy. So I don't want you to spend too much time on this exercise. You can also find this exercise in my book, I'm Sad, I Have a Reason, A Beginner's Guide to Feeling Sane Again, which I have sent to the email address that you entered into this masterclass with. And you can consider it a little added boldness and a thank you for attending. So if you feel we're moving too fast, then you can also find this exercise and more in the book. If you do not see the link for the book, then please head over to attitudeon10.com and you could download it there as well. Okay. So anyway, back to the exercise, the tree of reason exercise. So as adults, you can mitigate and you will learn to dissociate. And we are unaware of our body's responses, right? Our family, social, and work life suffers because of this. We become impulsive, overly passive, or even numb to our truth. So this exercise is meant to be very easy, very, just a very quick overview, right? I don't want you to spend too much time trying to dig too deep because we're not doing that today. Okay. And I don't advise you to try to do that without some guidance and, someone to kind of hold your hand through that, because sometimes doing this can be very, very emotional. But I do want you to do this small exercise. Okay. So on a piece of paper, I would like for you to start from the bottom up on this tree, right? You're going to write my tree of reason, because you do have a reason. I couldn't stand when I used to feel anxious and I used to say, oh, I feel anxious for no reason. And sometimes it feels that way. It really does. It felt that way to me for a very long time, until I was able to break it down into my tree of reason. And I said, there must be something behind this, right? So I'm going to use anxiety as an example. Once you go to the root is not going to be, we're not going to get technical. I just want you to pick a habit and think of the very first time that you perform that habit, whether it be staying up very late because you cannot sleep, which would be a symptom. So a symptom or a habit. Mine was anxiety, and I was very impulsive. Okay, I was very reactive and aggressive. And the root, I remember the first memory that you had with the habit. So the first memory I had with the habit was in grade school. And I was in a classroom and I got very upset with another young lady. That is the first time that I consciously remember the habit, right? There you go. Step one is done. What is the root that you remember of the habit the very first time, right? And then the time span, I say, whoa, how long ago was that? For me, that was well over 25 years. So that will give you a time span. Just that fast, we're almost done with the exercise. So the first time you realized you had the habit or the symptom. Second is the time span. How long has it been since that first time that you can recall? And with the time span is so important to me, because it really, really points out to you how long you've been doing something. And this should really spark a light, and the light bulb should come on like, wow, I have been in a relationship with this habit for this long. Okay. When I did this, it was a definite aha moment. I said, whoa, I have been impulsive and reactive for over 25 years. That's like a long-term relationship. Okay. A toxic long-term relationship that you should get out of with the habit, and you have been together for this long. Okay. And the reason why I want you to look at the time span is because too often you will beat yourself up about not being able to change something in a week or two. And this is not the way it works. Your subconscious mind has been subjected to this time span. The longer that you have a habit, a symptom, or a way of life, the more it becomes a normal occurrence to your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is really the one running the show. Okay? So if I've been doing this for 25 years, I'm going to say, whoa, I really have to have a look at the amount of effort that I'm willing to put in to change it, the amount of effort that I'm willing to put in to dissect it and go deeper and fix it in the now, which takes us to the next step. Okay. What are the aspects of this relationship? We're going to treat it as a relationship, because your habits and your symptoms are part of your life right now, and you are in a relationship with them, right? And what happens when you try to break up? They say you spend half the time that you've been in the relationship trying to break it up. Okay. And there's a lot of truth in this, but it doesn't have to take that long. It doesn't have to be so hard, because when you think about the aspects of what's destroying the relationship as it is, you can think up of the environment. You could think of what models do you have in place that surround this root behavior, why it has lasted this long. So here you will break down what triggers that behavior. right? What has made it last this long? What are you getting out of it? Or what does someone else get out of it that is important to you? Okay? So when you're able to ask that, well, what makes me behave this way? What trigger do I have that makes me do these things, right? So with me, using the same example, the reactivity, right? Being reactive and aggressive was because using my memory of the first time I remembered, beginning this habit was because I felt tough. I felt safe. I protected myself and no one could hurt me. So moving on 25 years later, I was still reacting this way. And the aspects of it were whenever someone raised their voice, or whenever someone disagreed with me, or whenever someone was in my personal space and I felt threatened, I would react. And there was nothing wrong with me for doing this. This was the way my subconscious mind was programmed to behave. My subconscious mind was programmed to believe that this was normal and that this was the way of life for me. And it wasn't until I created my tree of reason that I was able to then see in a clearer way the aspects that surrounded the habit and why it lasted so long, why I was in a relationship with this habit for this time span. Okay. And then with all three together, when it started, how long it's been here, and the aspects of my life that add to it, that add fuel to that fire, became me. It became my identity, and too often, right? If I ask you, how are you feeling? You will say, I feel mad, or I feel angry, right? Well, truthfully, we will say I'm fine. And most of the time that's a lie. But if you really said how you feel, how you think you feel, right? It would be, I am mad. Excuse me. Just took a little sip of tea. I am mad, or I am sad, and the truth is, you are not any of those things. Those are emotions, and your emotions lead you to your actions, and your actions become habitual. Okay? So the aspects are very important because you are going through the motion, through your emotions. Okay? And when you are able to pinpoint these aspects, right? Like, for example, I know I probably got plenty of mothers here on this training. Do you walk through the door and, your emotions run high? You're already emotional. You're going to have a horrible evening. It's going to be noisy. You have to cook. You have to clean. That is an aspect. Your door is an aspect. Your door is a trigger, and you're about to walk into havoc, right? That's how you feel. That is the perspective. And then you have to realize, how long have you been feeling that way? What is the time span of this feeling? And what is the root? When did you first start feeling that way, right? And this is the only way that you will then be able to change it and notice, okay, because of this first behavior and the time span, it's been so long, and the aspects of it, I know that it's going to take XYZ amount of work to change my identity surrounding it. And guys, that is your tree of reason. And you can use this for every single area in your life. And this is just one of the exercises of deep impact mind work, because I have several steps. There are levels, and this is the very first level, because of course it goes deeper than that, right? But this is just a very simple exercise that you can do. It's going to point out to you how long you've had a habitual pattern, and it'll help you pinpoint the aspects of it, right? The time span, which is really a light bulb moment. And then you can say, how has all of this translated into the identity that I have today? Okay. And it all begins with that, because you have to come to a place of acceptance and be able to tap into your heart's pain points, so that then you can start creating the change that you want to create. Okay. And by doing these things, you will be able to enter into a drill cycle, right? And like I said, that was just one small exercise. And the identity drill cycle will be for you to dig deep. And that was one of the exercises that I used to start getting you in the process of digging a little deeper and a little deeper each time that we speak or that we meet. And then once I get you to do that, you're able to step out of yourself and look at your life in retrospect, right? Like a business owner, like your life is your business, right? And when business owners do this, they take a good look at the time span that they've been doing something, that what business model have they been using, right? And they look at it and they're able to look at it from the outside looking in, and they make the changes that they need to make in order to better the company moving forward, better your life moving forward. Okay. And then the next part of the drill cycle would be to initiate the changes. And you need to be able to initiate the changes being true to your identity, because you would have to know exactly what changes you're going to make. Okay. And hold steadfast to them. You have to learn how to let be, right? And by letting be, I don't mean to just let everybody do what they want to do in your life, okay? By letting be, okay, you let yourself be your best self, okay? You let yourself be the best self, and then you spread that to everything around you, because what is meant to be will be for you. And what isn't will slowly melt away. I promise you, it happens every time. It's the most enlightening thing that you can do for yourself. Okay. And then you'll be able to let go, because we all have plans for ourselves, but God has the last word. For you, it may be the universe, Allah. I respect all religions. I respect all spirituality. But let me tell you something. Sometimes doors close, or things stop happening, or a direction you're going in is changed because you are rerouted. And when you do the work that I teach, I also go into a lot of energy work. I do a lot of energy work. And what happens is that it opens up a lot of opportunities, and it opens up a lot of windows, right? For things to come in that you probably were not planning, that you probably did not know that you would even have, right? And when this happens, you have to know how to let go of your own inhibitions, of your own expectations, okay? And when you do that, amazing things begin to happen, because I know you're tired of life chipping away at you, okay? I know that you are. And I need you, right, to take control and to begin these drill cycles, okay? And the reason why I call it a cycle is because you have been in a cycle in your life all along. You're in a cycle right now that is not working for you, okay? And quite frankly, I know that you're tired. You're tired of doing the same thing. You're tired of having change but for so long and then going right back to the same thing. You're tired of it, and you need to be able to drill your true identity into your subconscious mind, okay? When I was able to do that, okay, I was able to go back to school. I got my diploma, went back to college, got a degree. I got my money mindset right, okay? I built my credit from like 300 and something. I'm A1 now, okay? I got my beautiful luxury apartment in New York City. I experienced a tremendous paradigm shift, okay? The way I look at life altogether is different. I published my very first book, Bitter to Better, Breaking Chains, in 2018, where I shared so much of my trauma and the rituals that I had in place, and the crystal healing that I had in place, and the energy work that I was doing in forgiveness and in grounding myself in my true identity. I started my own online business. I doubled my income and skill set within the first year of starting this energy work. I rebuilt healthy relationships, learned to control my anxiety and depression. I am a completely different person. And one of the most amazing transformations has been the relationship with my mother. I held on to so much blame when it came to her. And it's amazing. It's amazing, just amazing how I was able to find a place of true acceptance and tune into the heart's pain points and create these amazing shifts. So deep impact mind work is all about you uncovering what unhealthy biological functions you are activating most right now. I'm talking about the science behind your symptoms and your behavior. You will learn daily techniques that tune the subconscious mind and begin new habitual thought patterns in the now. Begin the new decision-making agenda, okay? And you rebuild your identity from the root, okay? Your true identity, when you reach that place, you will be able to tear down barriers, respect your true values, right? Right now, you might be like, well, whatever those are, right? Like, I love my family, I love my children, but what do I truly value? Who are you right now? Don't you want to know? Don't you want to be steadfast in who you really are and just remain true to yourself? You would be able to respect your true values. You would unapologetically create shifts and evolve. Okay? And let me tell you, when you make the decision to unapologetically shift, nothing else will matter. Because when you put your life jacket on and you come afloat, only then can you help others. Your family will thank you for it, okay? Your coworkers will thank you for it. Your friends will thank you for it, because you'll be able to spread so much love and light to the world. Because, again, you are not broken, okay? You are not broken. And you have the potential to evolve. So I have an offer for you, because you can continue on today doing things the old way, right? Not being completely honest and holding your truth or hiding your truth. The stigma surrounding mental health is unbelievable. Most people don't go to get the help that they need. And to be honest, whoever really tells the whole truth when in a session with a therapist or whoever, right? You end up feeling worse or the same after a short change, okay? And then you go home, and that's where the real stuff happens. That's where the tears come out. That's where the unfulfillment is really out in the open. That's when you really truly feel who you really are, and only you know that, okay? And let me tell you, you can heal. You can become better. You can grow in your business. You can grow in your life, in your career. You can grow in your relationships. Okay? You can be a wonderful mom. You could be a wonderful provider. You could be a wonderful person all around and not feel like you're chipping away at your own self, like you're chipping away at your own identity. Okay? You do not have to feel that way. You do not have to suffer in silence. Okay? You do not have to be misunderstood and ashamed, trying to put up a front and repeating the same cycles over and over again. Not doing anything at all because it just is what it is. This is not true. You have the power to create change and putting your happiness and your needs second to others. I don't want you to continue to do those things, because that is not who you truly are. Okay, that is not who you truly are. So I would like to invite you to the Deep Impact Mindwork Transformational Coaching Program. Okay, it is an 8-week program with intensive, reflective, and actionable steps to make deeply impactful changes in your life. Okay, I do mix my program with science-backed methodologies and energy work. Okay, specifically crystal healing and hypnosis. Okay, and it is a process of drilling your true identity into your life. And it is truly, truly life-changing. The shift that you will make in only 8 weeks. Okay? If you learned something today, okay? If you realize it isn't you, Okay? It isn't your fault. Okay? These connections have been built since before you were able to control it, to know it, and to be in your truth. Okay? So if you take away anything from today's masterclass, I want you to take away that you are amazing, that you are able, and that you already have all of the tools that you need to make the changes that you want to make in your life actually stick. Okay? So what I want to offer to you, if you would like to do this faster, if you would like to learn methods that you can use in your everyday life, and they're very simple, it's very comprehensive, then I invite you into the 8-week program, and it's called Deep Impact Mindwork Transformational Coaching Program. And this is what you get inside Deep Impact Mindwork. You get 8 live weekly transformational coaching calls with me, not with anyone else. You will be speaking directly to me. You will get 7 custom-made, tailored to you, downloadable hypnosis sessions. This alone is a gold mine. Okay? And the reason why these hypnosis sessions are so important is because we want to speak directly to the subconscious mind so that we could break down the level of resistance that your subconscious mind is on. And we can help it unveil to you what is really going on and your true potential, the power that you have to be a complete powerhouse. And the way that we do this is by tapping into your subconscious mind. So I will create for you 7 custom-made, tailored to you, downloadable hypnosis sessions that you can listen to every day. Okay? And the way that I'll be able to custom make them for you is through our weekly calls, in which I will make sure that we are in constant contact, and I know exactly what it is that you need. Okay. On top of that, you will get 16 on-demand video lessons. You will receive 2 per week for the next 8 weeks with specific science-backed methodologies, energy work, and crystal healing exercises. Now, these videos are so good, and they're in the same format as I did today. A lot of them I am live because I just want to be with my clients in that way. So I do welcome you into my home, and we are live in a lot of the videos. So this video was this masterclass was only slides. But the training itself would be a lot of video content with me in it, along with slides as well. And you would get what I call soul work, homework assignments that'll help you get further faster with the coursework. And of course, I keep everything very simple for you guys. And this whole training program is valued at $7,997 because of how personable it is. I will be teaching it live, except for the 2 videos that you receive a week, which you will receive weekly for us to discuss during our live sessions. And it's going to be amazing. Now, only for the lucky 16 spots available, I am offering this $7,797 coaching package for only $997. Now, the only reason why I only have 16 spots available is because, like I said, I am teaching it live. You'll be able to talk to me. You're going to have direct contact with me as your coach. And I am one person, and I really, really, really want to give you all of my attention. And I really, really, really want to make sure that you are receiving the transformation that you need, because it is going to be remarkable. This is the only reason why I only have 16 spots available. And look, this price is not going to be here for long. I am giving massive, massive value. So for the next round, it will be at full price at $7,797. Okay, this is a New Year special for the new year for 2021. And it is only because I want to help so many people. But I can't continue to do it this way because, like I said, it is me. You will be coached by me directly, and moving forward, the price will be the regular price at $7,797. But for you today, $997. Click on the link below this video and you will be led to the modules, and you can read more and learn more about the 8-week Deep Impact Mind Work Transformational Coaching Program. So that is it for my masterclass today. I really, really, really want to thank you all for coming. I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful new year, full of prosperity and abundance. And I hope to see you inside.